knows. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how you can get this program completely for free. What you want to do, you want to go to my descriptions right here. There's going to be a link right here. You want to tap on that link, that very first link. And from here, you can read through the sales page if you like. If you don't, you just want to click buy now. Tap it on buy now. You want to just scroll down a little bit to where you fill in your discount code. The discount code is YWIYC. YWIYC. You want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, you can see the discount code, $500. That's how you can get the program completely for free. Come back up in here, fill out your contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. So I want you guys just to hit that complete my order. Once you hit complete my order, you're going to find an email in your inbox. You're going to tap on that link in your inbox. It's going to take you directly to the audio program. This is the 14 audio series, Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. And there are a lot of free bonuses included within this program as well. Now, over here, I'm going to come back to this slideshow presentation. I'm going to share with you what are the main key lessons in this audio series. And just a little bit of myself. My name is John. I started listening to this program a couple years ago. It was introduced to me by my own brother. And when I started listening to it, I was like, man, this guy's making a lot of sense. Because I listened to a lot of personal development for probably close to 20 years. I'm not saying none of it helped, but people were not able to piece all the pieces together. And that's what Kevin does really well. He's able to get all these different rules about the laws of manifestation from a very practical standpoint, so you're not going to get lost through this maze, okay? And there are 4 specific lessons in this audio series. I'm going to go through them one by one. And if you guys have any questions through this presentation, just put them in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I can. The first one is, who do you listen to? Second lesson, the teachability index. Third lesson, the training balance scale. And the fourth lesson, 4 steps to learning or 4 steps to mastery. So I'm going to be drinking a little bit of coffee through this presentation. It's going to be a while. I'm going to be sharing a lot today. And once more, if you guys have any questions for me, don't be shy. You can type it in the comment section. I may not get to it right away. I'm just going to come back in here, check out the comments every once in a while. Now, the topic today is why manifestation wasn't working and what finally made it click. All right. So the first lesson is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? I mean, when you are on the internet, everyone's trying to give you advice. And you don't even know who to listen to. When you hear from everybody, you're trying to absorb from everybody, you hear from nobody. And the reason why I listened to Kevin over the years, because he's the one who truly demonstrated success. His rule is, listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Notice there are 2 specific sections to this. He says, listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Oftentimes, we've been trained to listen to all the wrong people throughout our entire life. I made that mistake myself in the past. There was a time I was trying to lose weight. I was weight loss rebounding like crazy. And I was like, this is nonsense, because I was doing the calorie counting, I was eating right, but I would lose a couple of pounds and gain it all back and then some. So who do I listen to? Well, I went to the gym. I was in San Diego, Southern California. There was a place called Forum Plaza. Inside that plaza, there was a 24-hour fitness there. I went in there. Of course, these personal trainers are going to come up and be like, hey, I become a personal trainer, I can help you lose weight. The problem was that many of those trainers, they weren't even in shape themselves. I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm talking about. Oftentimes, we put our trust in other people because we think that they have these certifications, they went to school for this, they're more knowledgeable than I am. But do you want to be where they're at? Some of those trainers, they were in much worse shape than I was. But they're going to come up to you because it's a KPI they're going to have to do every single day to approach new potential clients, right? So over time, I had to become very careful about who I listen to, because if I sign up with these other personal trainers who weren't even in shape, how are they supposed to get me the results that I'm looking for? Another example that I made in the past, mistakes that I made, was I trusted traditional, I would say, the medical establishment, Western medicine. When I had a symptom, what did I do? I went to the CVS, I went to the pharmacy, and I took those medications. I don't care if it was for, could be a headache, it could be sinus problems, but I always had that, oh, this is what I should be doing right now. But did I actually fix my problem at the root? No. Another example I could give you was a couple months ago, I was there at the hospital. And while I was there in the ER, I was taking somebody there to the hospital. Many of those doctors, they were not even in shape themselves. But they're going to tell you, and says, you're in the ER. You're in the ER, they're going to tell you, get your blood test done, get your x-ray, get your ECG, electrocardiogram, EKG. Maybe you take some meds and you come back with your lab results. And you're going to say, hey, looking at your report, some of these values are out of range, within range, out of range, within range. Well, you should be looking at your doctor. You got to use these set of eyes and be like, listen, many of those doctors are trying to help you. They're not even in shape themselves. They're not even healthy themselves. You need to tell them, why don't you go run your blood test? Go run your ECG. Okay, where's your cholesterol at? Why don't you get up on that scale so we can measure your weight, measure your height. From there, we can measure your BMI, your body mass index. Many doctors, they're severely overweight and they have a whole bunch of chronic diseases they can't even resolve themselves. But we've been trained to say, oh, these are the experts. We need to go to them. I don't know what I'm doing. So I had to shift a lot of different things around. My paradigms were different principles I used to be holding on for a very long time because they were no longer serving me. The more I listened to these experts, the worse I got. First thing, who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. You got to find the right coach for yourself. Let's just say you're in your 30s and 40s and you're a lady, maybe a couple of kids. If you're trying to go to a 21-year-old personal trainer, they're not going to understand where you've been. Probably haven't had any kids. They haven't had a lot of hormonal imbalances. You need to find somebody who had that track record very, very similar to yours. They were in a season that had kids, and then after hormonal disruptions, a lot of imbalances, they had a lot of fluid retention, you could call it weight loss, rebound, whatever, but now they're on the completely other side of the things where they're restore themselves. They're not weight loss rebounding no more, and they're vibrantly healthy throughout the whole year. Those are the type of people you gotta be listening to. Even with us guys, right? There are big shifts that take place from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s. It doesn't make any sense for you to go to a personal trainer in their early 20s. They don't really understand what you've been through. All they're going to tell you to do, everything on their radar screen is, hey, this is this calorie counting, and you got to be doing more sets, more reps at the gym. I did all that, and it still wasn't working. There's so many things that are currently off your radar screen right now you don't even understand regards to your personal health. Do you know anything about detoxification? I'm talking about cleaning out your small and large intestines. Do you know anything about eliminating internal parasites from your body that can cause a lot of destruction inside your digestive tract and outside? Do you know anything about flushing out gallstones from the gallbladder or intrahepatic stones from the liver? I may be sharing a lot of topics right now that may rattle your cage a little bit because they're completely off your radar screen. You never heard about these things. You may have heard about it in a distant conversation. Maybe you saw something on the internet, but your mind's going to try to prevent you from diving deeper. Maybe you feel a little bit stupid right now, and your response, your automatic response is, oh, I know about that. No, you don't know about that. So listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Be very selective right now. Many of you, you need to go through your email right now, and you need to just unsubscribe to a whole bunch of lists you're on right now. They're not even serving you. They're just taking away your time and attention. Maybe you are looking at your YouTube feed, and many of those people you subscribe to, they're not really helping you. You need to unsubscribe. Better yet, you need to install something called Newsfeed Eradicator for your browser, which will just basically block out the news feed, your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, your Twitter feed, everything. Who do you listen to? I highly recommend you listen to Kevin Trudeau. All right. If you look at his track record, many of you a little bit older, you've seen him online. You've seen him on TV, infomercials. He sold so many programs in the hundreds of millions. He also wrote a book, Natural Cures You Don't Want to Know About. Go pick up that book. Before I even start listening to his program on Your Wish Is Your Command, I read his book because I was in a season where I needed to recover my own personal health. And I was bringing in all information from the north, south, east, and west. Everything is 80-20, right? So you may be reading 100 books, but only 20 of those are actually useful. And out of the 20 books, you need to mix and match and find the right path that is right for you. After going through so many books, hundreds of books on natural health, natural cures they don't want you to know about is one of the 20 books. Do I agree with everything in the book? No, and that's perfectly okay, but I do agree with the principles that are outlined in the book. Absolutely yes. So not only is Kevin an expert in manifestation, creating actual real results, he's also an expert in the field of natural health. So you guys go pick up that book. So that's the first lesson I want you to guys to really think about. Who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. I'm just going to jump in here, see if there are any comments in here. All right. So what else are we going to talk about next? The next lesson we're going to discuss is the teachability index. The teachability index. Maybe another way you can say is the coachability index. Many people say, I'm very teachable, I'm very coachable. How do you quantify something like this? Well, according to Kevin Trudeau, he has a way to quantify this. I'm going to show you how you get it done. The first part is, what is your willingness to learn? Okay? You got to give yourself a score from 0 to 10. The next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? Also giving yourself a score on 0 to 10. How do you know you have a willingness to learn? How do you know you have a willingness to learn something new that can better your health, better your wealth, better your relationships? It's very simple. You gotta take away your favorite activity that you're doing right now. Many people, the only thing they look forward to going home after work is turning on Netflix, turning on Hulu, Amazon Prime videos, catching their favorite TV shows. Maybe they're going golfing with their friends, playing basketball, going drinking with the boys. And that's what they do with their time. You're willing to take away that favorite activity that you're doing right now. And you're saying, you know what? No more doing that. I'm going to go pick up some books. I'm going to pick up some audio programs. I'm going to be attending some conferences online or in person. Set that time aside to actually learn something. You're really just 100% learning it. That's how you can quantify if you have that willingness to learn. Every month we got about 30 days, and how many of those days are you consistently showing up for yourself, having that willingness to learn, setting aside your favorite activities and replacing that with an activity, a learning, an audio program, a conference, either online or in person, that can better your life. Give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Be very, very objective. How will somebody else score you if you tell them these are the parameters? The next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? Many people miss this part. Many people, they're willing to learn. They bought the programs. Many people bought P90X, Tybo. But if you look at them, they're still out of shape. You go to their home. P90X is right there on their bookshelf. Tybo is right there on their bookshelf. Maybe they've bought a whole bunch of exercise machines from QVC, sitting in a corner collecting dust, right? Because they don't have that willingness to accept change. Willingness to accept change is, all right, I'm reading the books, I'm listening to the audios, I'm attending these conferences, but now where rubber meets the road, I'm actually going to do these exercises to the best of my ability. Tony Horn, he knows that you can't be doing some of those exercises that he can, right? So he has different modifications, different variations to make it easier for people who are starting out. You have to honor where you are at right now. I'm just saying this, where you are right now with your physical health, with your finances, with your relationships, right? But across the board, you got to give yourself a score. Am I teachable? Am I coachable? What is my willingness to learn? Give myself a score from 0 to 10. Some of you may be a 10 out of 10 with the willingness to learn. Next part is give yourself a score. What is your willingness to accept change? Some people, they can give themselves a score of 0 because they got all the information. They got the libraries full of books. They got their downloads folder full of PDFs that they downloaded from X, Y, or Z, but have never taken any action on them. Their willingness to accept change is 0. You multiply these two numbers together. So for example, you have a willingness to learn of 10, but you have a willingness to accept change of 0. So 10 multiplied by 0 is so 0. So you have a teachability index of 0. You're not coachable. And you're wondering why your life isn't moving in the direction that you want. You're watching a whole bunch of videos on law of manifestation, and that's all great. This is where rubber meets the road, right? You're learning about all these things, but you haven't really applied. If you're actually applying these things, your life is going to steadily change. There comes to a point where I had to be very willing to accept change. I was in a season of my life where my health wasn't going right. Even though I made a lot of changes already, I was making a lot of progress, but something was still in the back of my mind in 2023. I was sitting there in my living room and I had a lot of joint pain. And a voice came in the back of my mind, told me to reread a particular book on liver cleanse. I read the book a couple years ago and I was not doing the protocol itself. I kept pushing it off because it was so outside of my comfort zone. You guys understand? Sometimes when you're dealing with certain information and it's so outside of your comfort zone, you're not willing to do it. But that particular morning, this voice wasn't like a little nudge. It was quite loud. You had to go read that book. And that day, I got the ingredients, and by that weekend, I performed my first liver and gallbladder flush, as outlined by Andreas Moritz. If I didn't go down on that path over the last couple of years, so from 2023 till now, I've been doing this protocol every 2 weeks, and I only see my health continue to skyrocket or has the right trajectory in the right direction. All the inflammation, they're completely gone. Whatever discomfort that I had from previous, they dissipated. It was like a bad dream that just went away. But I had to take action, right? It wasn't enough for me to have a book collecting dust on a shelf or sitting in some downloads folder. And let me tell you, there are a lot of free books you can download online completely for free. You can go to Library of Congress. You can go to archive.org. So information is not the problem. It's not about you don't have enough the right information. It's about, are you applying the information to the best of your ability right now? You may not apply everything perfect right away, You may not do all the exercises that Tony Horn outlines. But you know what? Maybe you can go out for a walk for 15 minutes. If you can't do that, do 10 minutes. And that will get the ball start to roll in the right direction. Teachability index, willingness to learn, willingness to accept change. What I'm describing here and sharing with you are only the broad strokes. This is the reason why you guys got to get the program, get the full program completely for free. If you guys want to do how to get it for free, all you have to do is go to my descriptions. I'm also going to leave the link in the comments below. You're going to click on that link. Click on that link. And you can also read through this entire sales page if you like, right? And at the end, you can click this buy now button. Buy now button. The first section you want to fill out is the coupon code. Make sure that it works. It's YWIYC. You want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, you want to come back on top, fill in your contact, billing, and payment information. Once that is done, you just hit complete your order. Hitting complete your order, you're going to see an email in your inbox. That inbox, you're going to tap on that link. It's going to take you directly to the 14 audio series, your wishes, your command, how to manifest your desires. Now, it's a very long audio series. You're not going to get everything all in one day. This, what I'm sharing with you right here. If you find this to be very useful, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, right? And let me know if this has been helpful, right? And if you have any questions for me, you can put it in the chat box or leave in the comments. I can respond to them later. But the first two lessons, you can see why these are so important, but most people don't even talk about them. You want to change your life, but are you listening to the right people? First of all. Next part, you say you're teachable, but can you quantify your current teachability index? How willing are you to learn something? Are you setting aside your favorite activities to learn something? Next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? Are you willing to apply what you've learned? I don't care if that is a book that you just read, an audio program, or a conference online or in person. You put in the work in. Get some coffee here. We may have some background noise. That's perfectly fine. All right. The next part is the training balance scale. So think of a scale that tilts back and forth. On one side of the scale, it's about how you think and how you feel. What is your why? Your dreams, goals, and attitude, your mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. On the other side of the scale are the how actions, specific techniques, strategies, action steps, plans, activities, physical action. Okay. In the world of personal development, many coaches and teachers, they tell you the reason why you haven't achieved what you want is because you don't know that specific technique. You don't know the how actions. You don't have the right strategies. You don't have the action plans. The activities aren't right. According to Kevin Trudeau, he says that's completely incorrect. That is the misdirection they're trying to tell everybody in the world. So you're always focused on your conscious mind. Your mind is trying to hold on to information, trying to latch on to the next, I would say, audio program, the next thing. Oh, it's always something next, right? So you're always chasing. But according to Kevin, it's about how you think and how you feel. What is your why? Okay, what is really there? Your internal goals, dreams, attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. that commands more importance than all the other stuff combined. As I've been diving deeper into this, right now, the last couple of weeks, I've been led to studying more about the subconscious mind. And when I'm doing different meditations, I really want to target specific ones that can really reshape my subconscious mind. It's not just about how I think about myself consciously. It's about, have I really built myself from within? How do I really think about certain situations? How do I really feel about certain situations? Not from a position of, oh, a fleeting thought, right? But at the core, okay? And is that vibration stable? Is that vibration consistent throughout the whole day? And that's the part most coaches don't really talk about. And I'm very grateful for Kevin's teaching, because when you're on this journey, the field or the universe is going to bring you information. People, events, circumstances, they're going to come to you in the right order. You're going to be coached in a certain way that's going to speak to you the loudest or the most effective way. And you're going to be coached on ways to really unearth what's taking place within, right? And that's something I'm very excited about, because I'm on this journey right now, right? How I'm doing this video right now is more just transmitting this experience with y'all, sharing about my own personal experience. And it's a wonderful experience, let me tell you guys what, because I've merged with tools, technology. You know, I'm using ChatGPT, but I'm using a very intelligent way, right? For example, you can start to build your future self. That future version of you, you can start to build it. What does this person look like? How would they act in different situations? And how can I be in tune with this future version of myself? We're all becoming something over time, right? And you're either going to regress, or you're going to push forward and you're going to evolve into a different version, not just from a physical standpoint, but an internal. When you get into around certain environments, how do you respond? When you get around certain people, how do you respond, right? And that's that first initial reaction, not something that you conjure up, or you're trying to, there's no trying in it, okay? And I think that has a lot to do with the training balance scale. I could be wrong. I'm just sharing with you. The training balance scale has a lot to do with the subconscious mind. It's about rebuilding the subconscious mind. It's not about just how you think and feel on a conscious level. It's what's taking place beneath the surface. Because most people, they've seen that, you know, iceberg. So let's talk about this. Conscious mind, 10%. Your willpower, your short-term memory, logical thinking, critical thinking. Right? The subconscious mind, this piece right here is much, much bigger. 90%. Your beliefs, your emotions, habits, your automatic default habits, your values, your protective reactions, long-term memory, imagination, intuition. It could be in a very, very positive direction, because we've all been installed different family patterns. And some of them are very empowering, and some of those are very disempowering. Subconscious mind, 90%. Many people may be coming from different religious circles. They may say, hey, suffering is more spiritual. When they were growing up, they were around that vibration. Suffering is more spiritual. Right? Being poor is more spiritual. Something like that. And as a child, you don't know, right? You're just absorbing your surroundings. And somehow that information is installed in the subconscious mind. And that's what's really driving you through different decisions. And the more we become aware and become in tune with these different things, we want to have different set of tools to reorganize the subconscious mind. And I wanted to share that just very briefly. Whoops, wrong slide. That was something else. Oh, I just want to share a little about who I am. My name is John, and a small part of what I do, I teach people how they can get in better shape. And I teach it through cleaning out the digestive system. Kevin Trudeau, he had something called the Mega Memory. This is the Mega Poop Transformation Challenge. This was me before in Southern California and San Diego. And I've always wanted a six-pack. I had six-pack abs when I was a teenager, and I lost it. So that was something that was in my subconscious mind. I'm like, when I look in the mirror, I was very frustrated because deep inside, in my subconscious mind, I knew I had a six-pack abs, right? But it wasn't showing up when I look into the mirror. Everything about my life was this, I gotta get back to that. So through a lot of meddling around with different protocols, I would say nutrition protocols, exercise protocols, still did not get it done until I started to really take this serious. This is the Mega Boost Transformation Challenge. Lose 3 to 5 pounds per month without going to the gym. Of course, this is not professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All I'm saying is, I have not been to the gym for a couple years now. I have a set of weights at home. I know how to do exercises on my own, but I'm not killing myself at the gym. This is the no BS guide to accelerated weight loss. If you're consistent with it, only if you decide to be consistent. And I just teach people how they can clean their digestive system through and through, because most people don't even know, right? And there's going to be a lot of stuff off your radar screen you don't know about. And what I'm trying to teach people is, listen, until you start to target and clean out your digestive system, you'll never get that six-pack abs. So what's in my subconscious mind? Right over here, there was a six-pack abs John somewhere down there. And some people, you don't have that. You don't care about six-pack abs, right? In your subconscious mind, you are obese, you're overweight. So what happens is, maybe in a short season, you use your willpower. You use your critical thinking, you're going to the gym, and then you really beat yourself for 6 to 8 months, you know, and then you got those 3 months you'll be like, I'm ready for the photo shoot, I'm going to the beach, but your subconscious mind's still a fat guy. So what happens when summer is over? When summer is over, you're going to revert back. So don't you guys, it's important for us to learn even more about the subconscious mind, what's really underneath the surface. What are your true beliefs? What are your true emotions? How do you really feel about certain situations, people, events, circumstances? Because the subconscious mind is almost like, I'm trying to protect this, right? And when you're trying to go outside of the comfort zone, this guy, right, it's always going to try to bring you back. That fat guy in the subconscious mind is always trying to bring you back as a protective reaction. And think about that across the gamut, about your religious beliefs, about your health, about the way you work with finances, these unconscious thoughts that you have, or people that have been programmed into you. And now yours is in it, right? But you don't know these gears are turning underneath you. So pay attention to what I'm talking about. If you have any questions regarding this, does this make sense? I'd love to hear your thoughts regarding this. Anybody here? Anyone here? So if you're here, I'm going to teach you guys how you can get Kevin Trudeau's Your Wishes, Your Command program completely for free. He's going to click on this, let me refresh this page. All you got to do is click here in the descriptions. And from the descriptions, you're going to click that link, which will take you to a sales page. From the sales page, click buy now. And buy now, there is a coupon button, coupon box. You scroll down a little bit, you type in YWIYC, your wish is your command, YWIYC, and then you hit apply. You hit apply, discount code is applied. You come back on top, fill out your contact, billing, and payment information, and you get this program completely for free. It's not going to charge you anything, so don't worry about that. So many people already follow my directions and already downloaded the program completely for free. And they just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. Right? So last lesson we were talking about the training balance scale, right? Training balance scale. How you think and how you feel, your why. Dreams, goals, and attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. It goes a lot deeper. I want you guys to really observe your thoughts. Okay, yeah, initial reaction. When somebody is winning, do you initially respond with, oh, trying to downplay their success, or you celebrate with them? You got to retrain that. So something within your subconscious mind, if you're not celebrating somebody else's win, you're blocking success. There are energetic patterns within you right now that aren't serving you. Many years ago, I was reading a book. Was it T. Harv Eker? Yeah, this was the author. Let me look at his books. And there was a book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, okay? And I read this many years ago. See, back in my 20s, I started studying this very, very deeply. And he was talking about how he saw Oprah. She had some major success. I don't know, television, maybe she launched a new book. Maybe she became a New York, bestseller, New York Times bestseller, whatever it was. But he had to recoach himself to celebrate with her success. And that's part of the programming we got to do. If we want to move to a different area of finances, first we got to see money as good. We got to see other people winning as good, right? Not just like, oh, yeah, but you want to learn to be a great celebration. I would say be their biggest fan, be their support, right? Because when you win, people celebrate with you. That's how it works. Seed time and harvest. So according to Kevin Trudeau, he says, don't worry so much about the specific techniques, strategies, action steps. There's so many of them out there, right? But you are just focused on this 10% or even less than this 10%. You're using your willpower trying to achieve some type of short-term success that's not lasting. Just like those people inside their subconscious mind, they're overweight, right? So even if they struggle to get that six-pack abs in the short term, they're always going to revert back to that fat guy who eats donuts and ice cream. Is that what you want? Wouldn't it be more efficient if we learn about the subconscious mind and we start to rewire what's underneath below? So I see somebody's on here. Anyone here? So the next lesson is 4 steps to learning. 4 steps to learning. And we all go through these steps. And these are lessons we have to go through again and again. We don't learn it all in one go. We move from a place of unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Think about when you're first getting on a bike. You're trying to learn how to ride a bicycle, but you don't know what you're doing, so you may have to start on a tricycle first, on training wheels to start. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know where to place your hands with the handles. You don't know how to pedal, and your parents or your family members have to teach you, or an older brother or sister. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. And over time, you get back on that bike, you become conscious and confident. You know that you don't know something. Maybe you see older kids in the neighborhood. Many of them know how to ride that bike. Many of them, they're riding a bike without putting their hands on the handles. They know how to balance on that bike. And that was outside your scope of awareness. That's outside of your radar screen, but now it's on your radar screen. You're like, well, that's available for me in the future. Later on, you become conscious confident as riding a bicycle. You know that you know something. You're like, okay, if I do this in this set of orders, I'm gonna get this bike moving in the right direction. And over time, maybe the training wheels are off. Now you're learning how to balance on that bike. If I get some momentum going, okay, it's gonna be a little bit difficult initially, but over time, I'm gonna have that momentum, and now I can direct this bike where I need it to be. And eventually, you become unconscious confident at riding a bicycle. You know how to ride that bike, and success is automatic. Even if you don't ride that bike for 10 years at a time, 15 years at a time, you go on a vacation, and your family members are like, hey, let's go get a bike rental, right? You're not going to become so anxious all of a sudden and be like, I don't know how to ride that bike. I don't know how to do this. That thing is already installed. Once again, that stuff is installed in your subconscious mind. Doesn't matter what brand of bicycle that you got. As long as it's got the handles, right? You know how to get on that bike, right? And some of them a little bit more complicated. You may have to learn how to shift the gears a little bit, but that's not too hard. But overall, you're unconscious competent at riding that bicycle. Every last one of these lessons I'm talking about, there's always another layer that you can learn, a deeper layer. I'm just providing the broad strokes today. But you guys want to get the program completely for free, as I've outlined earlier in this video. So you can deep dive into every last one of these lessons. Even another example you can give yourself is tying your shoes. Many people only think they know how to tie their shoes. Many people are tying their shoes wrong. So get yourself inside like an expensive Nordstrom's or something like that, and get those professionals to teach you how to tie a pair of shoes. Get yourself a pair of shoes, right? And they're going to teach you how to tie your pair of shoes. Because for the longest time, even I was tying my shoes incorrectly. Tying your shoes isn't about, oh, they're tied up. No, there's different ways to tie your shoes. And I just want to thank you for any of y'all listen to this presentation. I want to come back in here, see if any questions for me. I want to come back in here, see if any questions for me. I want to come back in here, see if any questions for me. So I'm not even sure if my sound is working. I hope it's working. Get some coffee here. Scale, right? Training balance scale. How you think and how you feel. You're as long as it's got get those professional. And it's a wonderful experience. Let me tell you guys what, because I've merged with tools technology. You know, I'm using my sound is working. I hope it's working. Get some coffee here. Scale, right? Training balance scale. How you think and how you feel. You're as long as it's got get those professional. And it's a wonderful experience. Let me tell you guys what, because I've merged with tools technology. You know, I'm using my sound is working. I hope it's working. Get some coffee here. Scale, right? Training balance scale. How you think and how you feel. You're as long as it's got to get those professional and get some coffee here. So in conclusion, what did we talk today? What did we talk about today? Today we talked about your wish is your command. Who do you listen to? Teachability index, training balance scale, 4 steps to learning. And once again, how to get the program completely for free? You want to just go to my link here in the description. So from here, what is this program about? Listen, if you are into any of these guys, I don't care if it's Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Joe Vitale, Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale, Joe Dispenza, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Cavett Robert, Ed Foreman, Joe Bauer, Grant Cardone, Dennis Whaley, Marshall Silver, Neville Goddard. If you follow any of these people, if you like reading The Secret, listen, get this program completely for free. I don't know how long Kevin's going to be doing this, but over here, just click buy now. After you click buy now, you want to go to your enter your coupon code, which is YWIYC. You want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, come back on top, fill in your contact, billing, and payment information. Complete your order. It's not going to charge you anything. Go to your inbox. Should be get an email within less than 5 minutes. If it's not there, check your spam folder for whatever reason. Drag it back into your inbox. There's going to be a link in your inbox. Tap on that, and that's going to take you to the 14 audio series, which is your command, how to manifest your desires. So I think there was somebody here. Anybody here have any questions for me? Got 5 people watching. So I'm showing you guys, I went through a lot of information today. We talked about the basic outline, the basic lessons in your wish is your command. Who do you listen to? Teachability index, training balance scale, 4 steps to learning. Now, I'm just providing the broad strokes here. You guys want to listen to this audio program again and again and again, so they can really seep down into your subconscious mind. When you're being presented with different people's situations, circumstances, you can always come back to this and be like, hey, am I listening to the right people? What did Kevin say? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. And I discussed in quite detail, but I only talked about it in one particular vertical, which is the health vertical. Next is about your teachability index. How coachable are you? What is your willingness to learn? Give yourself a score from 0 to 10. And what is your willingness to accept change? Also give yourself a score from 0 to 10. You're multiplying these numbers together to give yourself a score of your teachability index or your coachability index. Training balance scale. It's about how you think and how you feel, but at a deeper level. It's not at a conscious level. It's about who you are at the core. How you think and how you feel in the subconscious mind. Have you really learned to really reconfigure this section right here, the subconscious mind? Your beliefs, your emotions, your habits and values, your protective reactions, your imagination and intuition, right? You can actually reconfigure it, because what the world's going to do, they're going to install the wrong type of thinking in you. So you're always going the wrong direction. One thing that people always want to give you, they want to create this as short term. They want you to always be short term focused. Everything is short term. So they put something in you, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out. You're always have that fear of missing out the next thing. So you're constantly scrolling on social media and you're watching your friends doing this, that, and the third, and you have that fear of missing out. You're always chasing and chasing and chasing. And that energy pattern, it is installed within you. They want it installed in your neurology. Here's another example. It is so insidious what they do to you. You guys don't even know the type of stuff. Did you guys know that Monaco, right? Monaco only has about 2.08 square kilometers, but their GDP is roughly 10 billion per year. How did they get it done? Monaco, that small little sovereign nation south of France, that's full of casinos. So when you're watching the movies, you're like, I want to be like James Bond. I want to be like Casino Royale, right? Taking those beautiful photos there. And you've watched many people do that, right? They go to Monaco, they get their photos taken. But what is their biggest driver of revenue? It's casinos. So you have that thing about going to casinos. Well, did you know the residents of Monaco, they can't even visit the casino? That's how they protect their citizens from developing a gambling addiction. You guys understand? But they want to put that, they want to make it, oh, this is a casino. You can have luxurious lifestyle here. You may win a big here, get your photos taken here, right? You could be somebody here, right? When you're here in Monaco, you can feel important. Real wealthy people don't think like that. They think about legacy. They want to create an environment where you become addicted to gambling. And they're just collecting that money and they're buying more assets. That could be stocks, collecting dividends. That could be buying real estate. Any type of cash flow producing assets, they're just acquiring more and more assets. They want you to work hard. That's another thing that they install in your subconscious mind. They said that for you to be successful in life, you need to work hard. Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. He didn't write the book Toil Hard and Grow Rich. Kevin teaches the training balance scale. He teaches this is about how you think and how you feel. Your why, dreams, goals, and attitudes, mental processes, vibration, tonal motivation. Not just in the confines of your conscious mind, but also how is it installed in the subconscious? Because everything is always going to come back to your subconscious mind. You know, some people, you see these NFL players, they come out of the ghettos, and all of a sudden, they skyrocket to fame, they skyrocket to beautiful women, skyrocket to this, that, and the third, right? And they lose it all, right? Because they still have that hood mentality within them. You take them out of the hood, you can't take the hood out of them. Subconscious mind. Everything's going to revert back to that trailer home living, even though they're making millions and millions right now, right? But for some reason, they feel unsafe. So rather than just finding, oh, I need to find the next specific technique, the next strategy, right? The action steps. What Kevin's trying to teach you is, listen, that it's a very small portion. You need to somehow reconfigure this, the subconscious mind. So that's why listen to these audio programs again and again and again and again. Will start to install this new framework in your subconscious mind. So when you're being presented with different situations, circumstances, and events, you have a new mental model to face these new challenges. You guys understand? Does that make sense? Anybody watching this? So thanks so much for watching this video. Have an amazing rest of your day. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll respond to you as soon as I can.